He's awkward because he doesn't deliver any lines. He doesn't make any sounds, and he's just kind of stiff and completely personality free. It's very weird, very strange. I don't blame Mr. Chaney. I know he's a great actor, he's a legendary actor, but just as far as performances go, it's pretty weak, especially following Boris Karloff's trilogy. Uh, there's not much to say about Ghost of Frankenstein. It feels a little bit retread-ish. You have a lot of continuity errors, like the monster is revived with electricity in this movie, even though in the previous movie he was weakened by electricity. So it's a movie that doesn't really care much about continuity anymore, but it is entertaining to say the least. Um, the let me see. There's the Ghost of Frankenstein. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. You don't really see the Frankenstein monster fighting the Wolfman until the very end, but it is an entertaining set piece. The first few minutes show a really visually spectacular grave robbery scene, which is really cool. Lon Chaney's performance as the Wolfman is good. And again, he plays the very emotionally turbulent, morally turbulent Larry Talbot. And this movie acts more like a Wolfman sequel than it does a Frankenstein sequel. And so Lon Chaney gives a good performance as the Wolfman. The transformation from himself to the Wolfman is actually done a lot better in this movie from what I recall in the first Wolfman movie. So that's a plus. But again, it's okay. It's better than Ghost of Frankenstein, but it's a very average horror movie. And don't forget Bela Lugosi plays the monster, which is ironic because he originally was offered the role of the monster before the role was offered to Boris Karloff in the first film. So he gets to come full circle and play the monster again. Again, a lot of his dialogue scenes get cut, so there's lots of scenes where you can see his mouth moving, and there's lots of awkward editing that renders Lugosi's performance a little stilted, a little strange. Again, not his fault, but overall decent movie. Could be better, could be worse. It's a fun way to kill 75 minutes of your time. The next movie, which is actually the first film I saw in this series, House of Frankenstein, is a movie involving basically it's a big monster mash. It's the first film to bring all of the classic Universal monsters together. Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, they're all in this. And Glenn Strange takes over the role of Frankenstein and does a pretty good job of it. He is not as emotionally riveting as Boris Karloff or as sympathetic as Karloff, but he gives a memorable performance. His look, his facial features, weirdly enough, work with the makeup. And so, besides Karloff, Glenn Strange's version of the monster is probably one of the most memorable. the the plot is very convoluted, and it would take me 10 minutes to explain everything. But it involves a mad doctor, a mad scientist. It's not a Frankenstein, but it is a mad doctor played by none other than Boris Karloff. Plays Doctor Neiman, and Neiman is out to. From what I remember, he's out to revive the monster, but he also hatches a conspiracy to engage in brain swapping with the monster, the Wolfman, and from what I recall from his assistant, it's convoluted, and it doesn't necessarily make the movie bad. It's actually still one of my favorite of the